in very many countries that people are eventually, the silent majority, we have in Kenya, we have a very big silent majority. Quiet people, decent people, honest working people who go about their lives. They are really tired of the circus of usual politics, of insults, of drama, of coming late for interviews, of eligibility to a job. You know, it just says this is what the eligibility. People are really tired. And I know that because I live amongst the people and I'm a son of this country. People just want a normal servant service person. They just want a politician or a leader who just gets the job done. And me and my partner, my deputy governor, who's an accomplished scholar, Professor Philip Kaloki, we are just here to get the job done. And we have come with a full blessing of our party, and we have fused a lot of ways: the Wiper way, the ODM way, the Jubilee way, the NAK Kenya way, the KANU way, the UPIA way, the DAP way. We have fused that, and that is the genius of this thing called Azimio la Umoja. Kenya will never be the same again because you Kenyans have decided to vote for Azimio la Umoja on 9th of August 2020.
Umetaja pale kiongozi wa Azimio Raila Odinga na ukamtunukia sifa kedekede. Je, uamuzi wako wa kuingia katika kinyang'anyiro hiki ulikuwa ni uamuzi wako wa hiari, wa binafsi, au ulikuwa uamuzi wa Raila Odinga na mrengo wa Azimio la Umoja?
Uamuzi wangu kuingia siasa niliufanya tarehe March mwaka 2017. Ndipo niliamua kuingia kisiasa kabisa. Na mimi nimekuwa member wa Jubilee Party kutoka wakati huo. Watu wengi wanasema nimeingia siasa hivi sasa. Nilichaguliwa na kura 869,000. Nafikiri na 2017, wacha nimalize.
Kwa sekunde chache naomba.
Nilichaguliwa na kura 869,000 wakati uliopita. Na sasa nimerudi tena kusimama. Ni uamuzi wangu binafsi wa kuja kwa siasa, na nilipigania kiti, nikang'ang'ania kiti, nikashinda tikiti ya chama tawala Jubilee.
So Igathe is his own man.
Igathe is his own man, and he won his nomination. He canvassed for his nomination politically within the party. Right. And within the party, we also had two other candidates. The people who were running against me also did not have degrees, you know, and I bet them.
All right, on that point, I think you'll be happy with this intervention because your competitor for the governor's seat has arrived, and would like to now call in Senator Johnson Sakaja.
Hey, karibu mdosi. Sasa bro, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, karibu sana. Good to see you. Pole. Traffic mbaya tutasort.
Thank you very much.
Senator Sakaja, why are you late?
Well, my opponent is used to head starts, and so I wanted to give him an opportunity, and we're here.
Lakini mbona umekuja kuchelewa?
Nilikuwa nataka kumpa nafasi, aanze, amezoea kupatiwa nafasi ya kuanza. Na hakuna haja kuzingatia hiyo zaidi. I think we all know the head starts we're talking about, that is from government, etc. But good to see you, Polycarp.
Good to see you, Sakaja. Welcome.
I look forward to a good debate. Thank you.
All right. What separates you from your top competitor for the governor position?
Well, Polycarp Igathe is a great man. He's a friend of mine. We've been in Jubilee together. We've campaigned together. I think what separates us is the heart to work for the people. He's had a career in the corporate sector. I've had a career in public service and in leadership. The problems this county has, the challenges in our city, the issues we need to deal with, need solid political leadership, and that is what I know.
Naam, swala la maadili katika uongozi lina umuhimu gani katika siasa zako, katika kampeni yako, katika mchakato huu mzima wa kuwania kiti cha ugavana katika kaunti ya Nairobi?
Swala za maadili ni muhimu sana, kwa sababu kiongozi sio tu yale ambayo unasema ama yale ambayo unazo kama fikra, ni yale ambayo unafanya. Integrity is extremely important, na mimi nazingatia masuala yote ya maadili. I think integrity defines who you are. And it's not about who you are in public, but also who you are in private. And that's what defines a leader, because as a leader, your work is to set a good example. Your work is to show, you know, the community and the society where to go to. And so, of course, integrity is not perfection. Integrity is not pontification. Integrity is not saying that you'll never make any mistake. Integrity is taking responsibility. And integrity is being able to stand up and say, yes, on this I am right, and yes, on this I am wrong. That is integrity.
You speak about abiding, and part of the requirement for governor is the competence and the credentials.
Yes.
Do you believe that it is important for someone running for governor to have a degree?
It's not just important, it's a requirement by our constitution.
Do you have a degree?
That's the reason I'm here. That's the reason I've been gazetted. I do have all the qualifications required to run for governor of Nairobi, and on top of a degree, beyond just the academic qualifications, I have the competence, the character, I have the will and the experience to lead this county of Nairobi.
Why is it so contested?
Because as I've said, the heads that's being sought include that. I think, and I feel bad for my opponent because majority, or rather the biggest part that his team has been relying on was not to have me on the ballot. I'm glad I had his said, because I've been around, I've been in this complex and listening, saying that, you know, he wants me on the ballot. I'm glad he said that, but many of his political benefactors do not want me on the ballot because they know the effect of that. I do have a degree from Team University. I presented it on the 6th of last month to the competent authority, which is the Commission for University Education. After that, it was presented to the counterpart commission in the, in our neighboring country. They verified it. Many people have said that I'm trying hard to prove that I have one. Actually, it's my detractors trying hard to prove that I don't have one. Now, this issue is before the court, and the reason I sympathize is that if my opponent and his team focused on going to the people, then they would stop looking for solace in the courts. I have it. In fact, I would want to display it today to all of you to see. I don't know how you'll verify it, but the competent authorities and institutions that have to verify it have actually said it is correct.
Na kwa dakika moja unusu, kwa sababu sasa hivi tutaanza kuzingatia muda kulingana na sheria na masharti ambayo tuliweka awali. Kwa dakika moja unusu, endapo utachaguliwa kuwa gavana wa kaunti ya Nairobi, kisha baadaye kesi iwasilishwe mahakamani ambayo itabatili ushindi wako, utawajibikia wakazi na wapiga kura wa Nairobi? Hakuna
kesi inaweza kubatili ushindi wangu, kwa sababu kwanza ushindi wangu, unajua ndugu yangu anaongea juu ya 8:57 am. Ushindi wangu utadhihirika, utaonekana. Nafikiri vile mmetutawanyisha kutoka wale wengine ilikuwa kwa sababu ya utafiti ambao umefanywa, na utafiti umeonyesha kwamba niko mbele zaidi. Mambo ambayo yako kotini yataisha kwa sababu tunajua ukweli ambao uko. Hakuna tashwishi hapo. Na zaidi ya hiyo, kwa sababu kumekuwa na hiyo unajua kizungumkuti ambayo imeongozwa na serikali, and I have said it previously, who has been driving this and how it's been driven. I think by the time we're going for re-election, we'll make sure that there's even more to be able to show on that. So that is not an issue of concern. What is of concern to us, and what is of concern to anybody worth his salt as a leader in this city, is the plight of the millions of Nairobians who are suffering the lack of dignity and the lack of order in our city. And that is where our focus must be. So I do not expect any challenges beyond that which, because what is out there is political propaganda. If you look at the lengths that the state has gone to try and stop my candidature, if you look at the resources deployed, including diplomats and the ambassador, etc., intimidation of institutions, revoking and revoking, etc., then you know that there's something there. And I think nothing of that source will stand the test of time.
Are you saying that those who are backing this fight for your contestation for the position of governor are behind your competitor?
Yes.
What do you say about that? You have an opportunity to respond.
Our worthy competitors have pitched themselves as victims, and the entire platform is victimhood. That they are victims of the weather, they are victims of the law, they are victims of what they call the system. But facts are facts, and the truth is the truth. I have said I really would love to meet Senator Sakaja.
I think out of abundance of the heart,
I would like to meet Senator. I would like to meet Senator Sakaja on the ballot, on the ballot, so that we can beat him, and so that the people who are the last line of defense when all other institutions fail prove to him that they know better, that wajinga waliisha Kenya. na waliisha Nairobi. If any other institutions fail, the people should never fail on the ballot.
Naam, muda umekwisha. Senator Sakaja, je, uamuzi wako kuingia kinyang'anyironi, ama niweke hivi, uamuzi wa kuingia kinyang'anyironi ulikuwa wako binafsi au ulikuwa wa chama na kiongozi wa chama?
Nimefurahi kwanza tumemaliza hicho kipindi kwa sababu I'm able to prove and to show that I have the qualifications and that is going on. I'm looking forward to it. And I know millions of Nairobians everywhere I've gone to tell me every day that they're praying, and because they can see that big hand of the state, and we shall be vindicated in due course. When there's time after this, I'm available to speak to that. Of course, my intention to run for governor of Nairobi has been my intention. I've grown up in this city. I was born in Ngara. I've seen this city when it had some semblance of, a working city. And I've also seen the lack of dignity and order in our people. The lack of dignity when Mama Mwende in Kayole had to watch her daughter die at Mama Lucy because of an ambulance. I've seen that, and I've committed myself to lead the charge of providing order and dignity in the city. So it was my decision, it is my decision, and beyond that, it is a resolve of the millions of Nairobians to rescue this city from state capture.
Your decision, you say, but it is on a ticket UDA under Kenya Kwanza.
Yes.
If you are elected as governor, how much of a burden will the patrons of your particular alliance have or be to your leadership as governor?
I think I've distinguished myself over the years as an objective leader, as a leader who stands his ground, as a leader who stands on principle. Many times, even before what my competitors and their colleagues thrive on, they like talking about the handshake, I've demonstrated what we call siasa safi. When the Honorable Prime Minister, former Prime Minister's retirement benefits were being rejected in Parliament because his now partner and brother said he must retire from politics, I'm the only person from Jubilee who stood up to defend. When Honorable Oloch was being fought at Pan-Africa by Jubilee members on the 26th of October, I'm the one who defended him. When Babu Owino was thrown into a cell and Raila Odinga and Wetangula could not remove him, I went, despite there not being any agreement before the handshake. I believe in siasa safi. I believe politics is not enmity. And I want to assure even my opponent that once we get into office, some of the ideas he has, because he's a good manager, and this city also needs, in some areas you need managers, of course, led by a leader with a vision. We'll incorporate the ideas. Everybody sitting on that side knows that I have no negative relationship with them, and that is the siasa safi Nairobians want. And that is why all your polls show that Nairobians across the political divide have resolved to support me for the office of governor.
Bwana Polycarp, je, ni kwamba Azimio mnaendesha siasa chafu katika kaunti ya Nairobi?
Kwanza wacha tuangalie siasa safi ni nini. Mwaka uliopita taifa la Kenya, the amount of money, pesa ambazo walituma kwa serikali gatuzi kutoka kwa serikali ya kitaifa was 370 billion shillings. 370 billion, Nairobi ilipata 19 billion. 5% only ndio ilikuja Nairobi. Nairobi, wapiga kura Nairobi ni 11% ya tuko 2.4 million out of 2.4 million voters out of 22 million voters in the country. Now, Nairobi contributes 2.2 trillion wame collect Kenya Revenue Authority. 60% ya hiyo 2.2 trillion imetoka kwa viwanda na wafanyi biashara hapa Nairobi. How does somebody contribute 60% of revenue and you only share 5% back? Na hiyo siasa safi ndio seneta wetu amefanya katika Senate. Kazi ya seneta ni kutuombea pesa. Ametuombea tu 5%. Alienda huko kufanya kazi ya county zingine. Hapa ndio sababu Nairobi hamna mashule. Tuna nasari pengine 211. Tuko na health centers kidogo sana, da dispensary. Na ndipo njaa na umaskini umekithiri hapa kwa sababu watu hawajui Nairobi is unaffected and a very poor country.
Muda wako umekwisha.
A very poor county.
Muda wako umekwisha.
That is not siasa safi.
Bwana Sakaja ameuliza umetetea vipi county ya Nairobi ulipokuwa seneta katika kipindi hiki cha takriban miaka 5. Je, kweli umewajibika kama seneta wa county ya Nairobi?
Zaidi. Na zaidi ya wote wengine ambao walichaguliwa kama maseneta. Ukiangalia utafiti ambao umefanywa kwa miaka mitatu ambayo imepita, for the last 3 years running, I've been rated the best performing senator in the Republic of Kenya. I brought more bills, more motions, more questions about the county administration of Nairobi than any other senator, and you can check. I can see you have laptops. You can check that. On top of that, the work of the senator is to bring resources to the county. When I became senator for Nairobi, Nairobi was receiving 15 billion. I'm living with it 3.3 billion higher at 19 billion. That is actually understanding your assignment and prosecuting it the way you need to. So I brought that money. In fact, naturally, it would take more than 10, 15 years in terms of cycles of devolution to get to an increase of 3.3 billion.
Something Igathe says isn't quite enough, even though you've gotten it to 19 billion. Something he says isn't enough, given the contribution of the capital to the rest of the nation.
Now, if you understand the framework of devolution under our constitution, fiscal decentralization has what we call the horizontal division of revenue. In that horizontal division of revenue, you have a county allocation of revenue bill where you divide the amount that is given amongst the counties. So, of course, there is a ceiling of what has been given to all counties. What I have fought for is the fair share for Nairobi City County, which remains to be the highest, and over and above what any other county gets.
Igathe, you have a response on that?
I don't know how much is enough.
What Senator ensured persisted in this country is a philosophy that is unsustainable, that you take from people according to their needs and give to others according to their ability and give to others according to their need. Nairobi is a very needy county. And the criticism I'm profiling here and submitting to him is that as senator, what did you do to help Nairobi overcome the hunger, the deprivation, the desperation in the informal settlements? Did you bring that matter to Senate? Did you make people understand that case? Instead, what we saw, he was a leader of a group called Team Kenya that even removed incentives for county to generate their own revenue. We used to get 1% extra if you generate your own source revenue. Like Nairobi is only generating this is going to do about 9 billion of its own revenue. So the the CRA, Commission for Revenue Allocation, was giving us brownie points as a county if you collect your own revenue and you don't rely on the national government. And these are some of the things he did not protect as our senator. So how does somebody fail or does not succeed in their task and then you give him the job of governor?
Naam, ulifeli katika kutetea na kulinda rasilimali za kaunti ya Nairobi, na ukiwa seneta kwa takriban miaka 5 ambao umekuwa katika uongozi, umeweka mikakati gani kudhibiti na kuimarisha ukusanyaji wa mapato katika kaunti ya Nairobi ambayo yameonekana kudidimia?
19 billion from 15 billion is success. It's an improvement. In fact, if I succumbed to the sloganeering that my worthy competitor is talking about, which in fact his argument is the best case to show that education does not necessarily equate to intelligence. Because if I bring a box and tell you this is 1 man 1 shilling, and it's 1,000 bob to you, and inside it's 500 shillings, would you accept it? What they were offering Nairobi Polycarp was 134 million shillings more. I refused with my Team Kenya. I said Nairobi has the depth of poverty, that urban poverty bites harder than rural poverty, that you have nothing in this city, you'll have nothing to eat, you'll have nowhere to stay. And I refused that 135 million shillings and got 3.35 billion shillings for the people of Nairobi. If I was just to fall for the empty slogan, Nairobi would still be at 15.8 billion shillings today. So I'm very proud, and I'm proud of all my members, because not only did I secure that for Nairobi, I showed this country that there is no Kenya A and Kenya B. There's no second-class county in a first-class country. And I stand my ground that we must be patriotic. Even as we're in Nairobi, we have people from all across the country. On top of that, I can list you the bills. I brought the startup bill. I brought the prompt payment bill. I brought the National Disaster Management Authority bill in the Senate. I have fought for Uber drivers, Taxify and all digital hailing apps. I have spoken about the demolitions and even stopped demolitions that are going further. I have done a lot. In fact, if you gave me maybe an hour or so to just list the things I have done in the Senate, and I hope the next Senate of Nairobi will be able to fill in those big shoes,
for that response,
because it is work that we've done.
Let's push on with that aspect then on, you talk about not having enough funds allocated to Nairobi given its place in the nation. However, there is the issue of not being able to actually get the potential revenue that it can get owing to the cartels in the city, which have been a thorn in the flesh of the administration. But it can be argued also fostered by the leadership. What will you do to get rid or deal with the cartels? Igathe, you have a minute and a half.
Thank you very much for that question. Nairobi collects, for sure, way above 200 million shillings every day. But what ends up in Nairobi coffers is around and about roughly 40 million a day. So over 160 million shillings is lost every day. That's the fact. We've had a senator whose work is also oversight. And Senator Sakaja, you had a chance to be seen in this country oversighting the county of Nairobi. When push came to shove and the impeachment question came to the floor of Senate, it's up to Kenyans to see how you voted. Not only did you did not even take a decision, you abstained. You walked away from the conversation. We have not seen you. Nairobi County employees, in fact, we have to apologize to them. They do unbelievable, their salaries are delayed, their remittances are delayed. The Auditor General's report about Nairobi City County is that Nairobi City County's close has a debt of over 80 billion now. That is what, it has been given an adverse opinion. But have we ever heard once our senator speak about it? And that's why I'm saying the oversight role he did not do very well, and he actually did not succeed in that oversight role. But the cartels we will deal with, because we have the numbers and we know who they are, and you have seen them in the campaign season trying to fight and hide behind
muda wako umekwisha. Bwana Sakaja, una muda wa dakika moja unusu kujibu.
I'm actually quite tickled that Polycarp Igathe can talk about push coming to shove and me not making a decision. Before even push came to shove, in like 4 or 5 months, Polycarp Igathe quit on the people of Nairobi. In fact, that should have come in the question of integrity. Because when you talk about public trust, chapter 6, at the expense of private convenience, that is the question that we must answer.
It did come up before you, right?
The question on impeachment. Governor Sonko would not be facing an impeachment if you stuck in office. In fact, if you stuck in office, you probably would have been the incumbent governor. If you stuck in office, there'd be no NMS in Nairobi. The reason we have an NMS in Nairobi is after Polycarp Igathe could not wait or stand the heat in the kitchen, he ran away in less than 6 months. This city needs resilience. You need to be tough. You cannot say that you have betrayed 800 and I think, how many votes did you guys get? 40 or something thousand votes, 840,000 votes, because you could not get the trust of one individual, yet 1 million Nairobians have given you the public trust. When push has come to shove, look at the Senate answered. I have spoken more times than any senator. I have raised more questions in the Senate than any other senator. In fact, I have taken the former Governor Sonko to court on the action he took on Matatus. The record is clear. This county needs a political manager who understands how to deal with the leaders and how to deal with the issues of the people, but has a thick skin. In fact, if half of the tribulations I'm facing right now in my bid were on Polycarp, Azimio would have no candidate. But I have stood.
Your time is out, you've stood, you ran off.
He'd have quit.
Integrity, I define integrity as what you do in private. If it ever became public, you'll never be ashamed. I'll tell you what is not integrity. Is uttering false documents and then standing here and saying I have integrity. Go to the website of the East African, of EACC. Go to the website of IBC. Check the university governors, Sakaja, Senator Sakaja.
Again, you know,
no, let me go. Go and check what Senator Sakaja cited as his degree in 2017. It's a public document. And then look at the degree he's saying it is today. We don't even know who he is. Is your name really Sakaja? Nairobi, careful, careful, careful. All of us, careful. We can no longer entertain charlatans in positions of high national responsibility. And charlatan is not an insult. It's people of questionable integrity. It's people and individuals who come to steal from you wholesale to distribute retail to their friends. And I submit to you, the man to my left will do exactly that. Careful.
Sakaja,
I think the man to my right did exactly that by running away from the mandate given to him by Nairobians. Actually, the entire mess we have in this city. Because when he ran away from office, and I think he said somewhere because he got a bigger salary somewhere, I don't know. This city went into a spiral. I assure you, even the drafting of the articles of transfer, I had to be involved because we had to rescue Nairobians. And he ran away from that public office. Now, if you cannot withstand the heat of a deputy governor, you can't run Nairobi City County. You have 85 MCAs, possibly 40 nominated, 125 MCAs. You have 17 constituencies. If just one Mike Sonko made you run, tomorrow, matatus will strike. The next day, hawkers will be on the street. The next day, and you're trying to run this county by being popular, it will not work. Again, as I've said, it is really unfortunate that the only card they had was to try and stop me from being on the ballot. I want to tell you, to wake up, smell the coffee. On the 9th of August, I'll be on the ballot for governor of Nairobi City County, and on the 25th, we shall be sworn in. Because Nairobians can see through the game. And the documents he's talking about, for instance, in fact, they're part, and I don't want to wade into subdue this, but they're forged documents. They actually forged documents in court by them. They have tried to...
Lakini huwezi kuthibitisha hilo, sio?
Of course I can, because even the signature there is not my signature.
Lakini sisi kwa sababu hatuna hizo stakabadhi, hatutakuruhusu kuzitumia.
Tuachie hapo, lakini wacha nijieleze, naona dakika zinaenda. Utanipa nafasi nzuri nijieleze. Mimi nimehitimu na nimesoma na nimesimamia watu wa Nairobi.
Jina lako ni Sakaja?
Not just in fair weather.
Sakaja ni jina lako halisi?
Nafikiri mlialika Sakaja. Jina lako ni Zubeida.
Niko hapa kuuliza maswali, uko hapa kujibu, naomba.
Ukiuliza swali ambao kama watu Nairobi wanasema itoshi.
Mwenzako amekuuliza swali. Kwa sababu uko hapa kujibu, ndio sababu tunakupa nafasi kujibu. Jina lako ni Sakaja.
Out to the issues Nairobians are facing instead of trivializing this debate as to what my name is, honestly. My name is Arthur Johnson Sakaja.
Naam.
I'm the senator of Nairobi and the incoming governor, God willing, on the 9th of August.
Asante kwa kujibu.
And I want us to talk about water. Let's talk about the poverty our people are facing. Let's talk about sorting out mobility and transport. Let's talk about sorting out our children in school. Let's talk about the issues of the people. And the rest of the games being played by the state and our opponents can then have their way. Because Kenyans have seen. In fact, I want to give you full reassurance. Just yesterday, a few of the government administration officers have called me saying that they're being coerced into supporting the candidature of my opponent, and they've refused. Chiefs have refused.
Well, DCs
have refused.
We can't quite verify that. That's
I can verify
your
that,
word.
but you should also be able to verify the questions he has. I have 16 seconds.
That's your word on that. But he said, and you didn't quite respond directly to it.
To what
that
my
at
name
the
is?
moment, at the moment, I'm quite clear, Senator Sakaja.
Thanks, Mark.
At the moment of reckoning, when
Yes.
there was questions over the leadership of former governor, the moment of impeachment,
Let me explain how
you
Senate
walked
works.
away.
Let me explain how Senate works. It's my question.
Sure, go ahead.
When you go to the Senate, I've seen one of the candidates here. There are 3 buttons to press when you have to vote. You either press yes, you press no, or you press abstain. For you to run away from the vote in the Senate, you actually walk out. You don't press any. Meaning to abstain is actually a vote, and it's a statement that you make. The tradition, because Parliament is ruled by the standing orders, by traditions and by precedents, and the past jurisprudence that has been set in the Senate. When a matter comes regarding your county, you're supposed to prosecute your position on the floor and then let others make the decision. Because if you vote yes to impeach a governor, of course it shows your conflict of interest. Because you want also to be governor. Then it shows that you're putting a man down. And let me tell you, Kenyans have grace. No matter the ills of Governor Mike Sonko, or whoever else would have been there, you never kick a man when he's down. So when you press yes, you've displayed your conflict of interest. If you press no, it means that you're actually abetting and agreeing with what he has done. And so the tradition from 2013, when an impeachment has been brought to the Senate, is the Senate of that area actually abstains on that vote. I'd have had the luxury of walking out and not being there for that vote. It's a decision I would take again if it came to me. And I'm proud of the decision I made.
You had a point to raise on that earlier.
I want to come in and say, yeah, it's true. Don't kick a man when he's down, but I have a better statement. Don't kick a dead dog.
I don't understand why you'd call the former governor a dog.
No, it's not the former governor, it's you I'm talking about.
You're calling me a dog.
Naomba Igathe.
I don't want to kick you, that's why I'm asking.
Igathe,
and you had me.
Naomba,
You
Igathe,
you had me earlier.
Naomba unisikize dakika moja,
Naomba
sekunde
sana.
moja. Tafadhali tusitumie lugha ya matusi
wakati
na kudhalilishana katika mjadala.
Wacha niseme hivi. Let me say this. Not kicking a dead dog is actually an English phrase, it's not an insult. It's to say, don't go for somebody when he's down. And I already said, I want to meet him on the ballot. I want to meet my competitor. I want to meet my competitor. I truly want to meet my competitor on the ballot. But I want to remind him that uttering a false document is one of the laws in this country